Welcome to another episode of the Can Be podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Castle, and I get fired up, totally excited, inspired, like it jazzes me up about just conversations, life by design, knowing that we can be anything or anybody we choose to be. To me, it's so simple. If life isn't what you want it to be, I believe we all have the power within to change who we are just by changing our thoughts. It's a choice. And that's why life is designed by us. It's designed with decisions that we make every single moment of every day. With me today, I have Amanda Phillips with Real Broker in Sherman, Texas. And Amanda and I could just talk about just the power that we have within to really design the life that we want to live. Now, in this particular episode, we're going to talk about some big changes that she made in her life in the last year and really what it took to get past that fear. So if you are looking at making some big decisions and you really are paused by fear, this is going to be a great episode for you. So we're going to get right into it. All right, so Amanda, I have already done the formal introduction. So I just really want to get into that whole conversation. You and I have known each other, I don't even know how many years ago. I keep thinking everything was like 2 years ago, and then I look and find out it was like 5 or 6 years ago. So it might have been a bazillion years ago that we met. I don't know.
Well, I've been in real estate for 15, and Gil just celebrated what?
11. So yeah,
going on probably 12 or 13 years we've known each other.
Yeah, not crazy. I would have guessed, 7 or 8. But anyway, here we are.
Right, because we're 29. Also that.
I'm 32. You're 29.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. But the conversation and a lot of conversations that I've had recently is really, especially this time of year, people are thinking, okay, in 2023, I'm going to do this. Or in 2023, if I had the guts or if things all work out, I'm going to do this. And, I'm just a big believer in we can be and we can do whatever it is that we in our mind decide that we can do. So success is a decision. The choices that we make every minute of every day determine what our future is. And so oftentimes, though, we take the memories of the past, and in a lot of cases, it's like, the memories of the last time I tried this, it didn't work out. And so I'm scared to try it again. And you and I know in business that there's just sometimes that we have to take chances. And you made a big decision and took a big chance. I mean, really gambled on yourself in 2022. And I know, though, you seem like, well, I'm going to do this. And then the next day you do it. I'm sure that there was way more to that decision than just, hey, I'm going to change brokerage. And oh my gosh, I'm just going to open up my own and I'm going to build a team and I'm going to have this great building downtown Sherman. And, and just 24 hours later, you made it happen, right? That's how it happened.
Right. That's how it works. Just snap your fingers and it's there.
But the reality
is, everybody?
The reality is, I know you probably went through that whole second guessing yourself and really, can we do this? And you had already several years prior to that made a decision to bring your husband on so that you guys had all of your eggs in one basket. So I'm sure that thought was, not only do we have all of our eggs in one basket, but now we got more liability if we do this, so tell us, really, what was that? Peel back the curtain, give us the reality of the decision-making process.
So it's funny, you're talking to me and there is a whiteboard on the other side of the camera in our office. And that's where our goals stay at all times, so that I can sit and see them every day. And also it's a whiteboard, so you can erase them and write new ones or modify them or whatever.
Like that one.
I don't feel like doing that right now. So when we joined Real, it is a cloud brokerage, and it was the middle of COVID, and everybody was kind of working from home anyway. And I thought, okay, this would be the time to try this. It worked until it didn't anymore, and we were like, we need an office, and we need to grow, and we need to make a presence for ourselves, because I was missing that. I am one that needs to be in the community. I need to be, involved in circles and networking and things like that. And you just tend to put your head down and work and pigeonhole yourself, and you look up and it's been 6 months and you haven't been to anything, right? Even though it's all going again. So yeah, we put it on the board that we were going to get an office, and gosh, it sat up there for probably 7 months, because I had in my mind what I wanted it to look like. And we looked at buildings, and we, tried to fit the square peg in the round hole kind of thing. And then we found the building on Crockett Street. And I mean, it truly was one of those things that, like, you walk in and the angels sing and your heart opens and you're like, this is it. This is where we are supposed to be.
Like it's supposed to happen whenever you're finding a house.
Right. That's exactly how it's supposed to happen. That's not really how it happens when you're searching for a house. That we like it to happen that way. We like people to walk in the first one and say, oh, this is perfect. Let's not look at a single other house.
There's those other 50. We don't need to go see those.
Right. And I mean, I've said this before, but my husband is the worst client I have ever had, ever. When we were buying our current home, we were looking at houses. We found this one. We were negotiating. He was terrible. He's just awful at it. It's not his thing at all. And so looking for a building was the exact same way. Like, we looked at two, and he was super frustrated that those didn't work. And I was like, I had to go put my realtor hat on and be like, this is why we look, so that we can decide what you like and what you don't like.
Good practice. Good practice.
Yeah, always good practice. But we are exactly where we're supposed to be. We are surrounded with the people that are supposed to be with us. And when I say we are coming for 2023, like, it just makes me super excited. The plans that we have for 2023, like, just, I am a naturally hesitant person. I know it doesn't always come across that way, because things happen in 24 hours for me, but I am a naturally hesitant person, and I'm not hesitating for a second about this.
Oh,
and
I love it.
Right? Like, that's how confident I am that we are doing exactly what we need to be doing. And people are joining, right? Like, joining in on it.
But I think, looking, and this is just an outsider looking in, but me seeing you now versus just even a couple years ago, I think that you have gotten really clear on who you are as a human and what your values are. And that is attracting the people that you really want to surround yourself with without much effort.
I mean, it's still a lot
because you've done the work. You've done the work.
Somebody told me when I was like 38 years old that, because I was like, oh,
I thought you were 29.
Oh, well, we're pulling the curtain back. I did not want to be 40. I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to be 40. And someone told me then, a friend of mine, that she was, past 40. She was like, I have really enjoyed my life since 40. And I was like, whatever. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know if it was just because she told me that and I paid attention to it, or if it just, it's coincidence, but something has clicked that just go do what you want to do, the way you want to do it, right? There is no right or wrong. As long as you're not breaking any laws, there's no right or wrong to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
But if at night, when you lay your head down and you're like, it's a damn good day, that's all that matters, right? And and worrying about what other people think or what other people are saying is just wasted minutes in the day. And yeah, I mean, it's probably kicked in the last couple of years that is my mindset. Not every day. I mean, I'm a typical woman. I'm worrying about, you and I were just framing this up, and I still am not liking the way that I'm framed. But like, just I don't know what clicked for me, but it has definitely clicked that day to day, just do what you want to do and have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think COVID really contributed to that too for everyone, right?
I think
like
there was
now,
a lot of,
you see a lot of people that went into business for themselves, right? They're like, why am I working for the man, right? Like the existential, the pie in the sky man. Like, why can't I go do this on my own? Or, I've always had this idea that there's a niche for this specific business. And I am loving seeing all of these people that are starting their own businesses.
Yes.
I love it.
I
love
am
it.
so excited to just see, and I think you and I see probably more of it because we're just attracted to that, because it's just so fascinating to see people's stories. And so, I mean, what you focus on is what you see more of. And so maybe, but it has been really incredible how many people have got more clear about the meaning of life and who they are, and just being okay with that, knowing that I may go backwards a little bit financially, but I'm going to be happier and I'm going to be healthier.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
And just slowing down a little bit. I mean, we all got to pay our bills. I get it, but I am here for a plan to get out from under corporate America and, do your own thing. Because
now I saw you and Stephanie doing some really cool stuff. Are y'all going to keep doing that together?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. And of course, that only helps us local folks, but it might encourage others to do something similar.
Yeah, so Dr. Stephanie Waite, she owns Texoma Specialty Counseling here in Sherman. She's also my best friend. She is a light in a dark room. She has mastered just helping people settle the chaos. And she's a licensed therapist and eating disorder specialist. But she came into our office before Christmas and just helped all of us. We meditated a little bit, wrote intentional positive words about each other. We just filled each other's cup for like 2 hours, right? And it was super productive just to quiet the noise, right? And I love that, but I also love that we are both local independent business owners, right? So that cooperative between small businesses like that is my new jam. Like anytime I can connect two businesses in town or, within Texoma area, I'm here for it. Like that is what is going to sustain this area as we grow and as these larger global chain companies come in. We want that, right? Like we want the restaurants, we want the retail, but I don't ever want our local businesses to suffer.
No.
So if I can connect 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, I'm here for it. And
what's been fascinating too is how many younger females are in business for themselves, and they really seem, I'm in downtown Denison a lot. I live there now. So it's really been cool to see, like my daughter's store, the collective, and just the females
cute.
that are there. And, Amanda, what's been so fascinating about that is they're all doing their own thing in their own way. And turning what was a hobby into a business that they some of them are still working in corporate America or regular, and then doing this on the side, and others have been able to turn that into a full-time job. but just seeing the collaboration and the support of our community because of people like you and Dr. Steph really connecting people. I think you're absolutely right. Just us being the fibers that just keep everybody connected is really important.
Yeah.
And
I love,
it's just it's just a fun way to spend our time, to spend
right,
life, helping,
right.
encouraging others and promoting each other.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to clap for someone throughout the day? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
there's a lot of negativity in the world right now. And so, I'm battling it one clap at a time for
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Not here to focus on the negative, just
Yeah.
want to be positive and connect people. Like that is a big word for us for 2023 is connection. Last year our word was growth.
Yeah.
Check, did it. So this year it's
Yeah.
connection, right? Whether it is, connecting businesses, connecting people with houses, but also, that's something else that we went through last year just with my business. It got to the point where we needed extra people. We needed assistants and, other staff members, and, connecting with the right people to lessen the load. Like it's still all 500 pounds are there, but when 4 people are holding it, it's way easier than one person kind of thing.
Yep.
And being okay with that. So that, we're kind of at that, next level of business. But for anybody that is thinking, like, I really would like to go into business for myself, start making a plan. Get you like a yellow notebook. Like I love a notepad. Jamie makes fun of me for all of my notepads that are I told you about my whiteboard. Like when we started this journey with him leaving corporate in 2019, like, yes, it was just a bunch of lists, a bunch of dreams and goals and, all the way down to small steps. And we still do that. Like we were gone most of Christmas break, but we did a ton of planning while we were gone too. And it's not ever, I don't ever think of them as like to-do lists. It's like goal lists. It's checklists. It's
like this
things
is
that
going
get
to
you to that
happen
next
one day.
step. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when back in 2019, when it was Jamie joining, that's really scary because you're leaving corporate, you're leaving benefits, you're leaving retirement funds, you're leaving, that steady every other Friday paycheck or however you get paid. But it's crazy when you actually like list out where you're like how much money comes in and where your money goes. And if you're like, but if we can do these couple of things, it would alleviate a lot of that, where you're like, oh, this is possible, right?
Yeah.
So like we paid off some debt to take like payments off, like monthly payments off of us, and just small little tweaks like that kind of hurt at the beginning, like taking a lump sum and paying some stuff off. And, I didn't get to go on vacation for a couple of months, but the fact that it lessened our monthly overhead.
That's a big deal to Amanda because she's really good at taking a break.
Yeah. I don't decorate my house. I go on vacation, but whatever it is, little things like that to start give you that confidence to take the next step, right? Like if you're like, this is how much money I need every month to pay my bills. And this is how much money I'd like to make every month to pay my bills and still have extra money, right? And then you work backwards from there. How many photography sessions do I have to have, or how many candles do I have to sell, or whatever the business is
whatever
that you want to do. Yeah, it's a math problem, and then get back to one, and then you go forward on it, and you're like, holy crap, look at this. I got a path. I'm doing it.
It's kind of like whenever you're riding your bicycle for the first time without training wheels, and then you like pause and go, oh, I'm doing it. The training wheels.
And that's another thing. Somebody had to tell me about 18 months in, you got to look back too. Like when you look back, when you're riding the bike, you're like, holy shit, I'm doing this all by myself. Like you got to look back and be like, oh, we need to celebrate, because guess what we just did? Guess what we made, we made as many sales in 6 months as we made in 12 months last year. Whatever the
Yeah. I
celebration
always
is,
say,
you got to
look,
celebrate.
yeah, reflect to celebrate, not to dwell on the past. You got to look back. You got to reflect to celebrate, to know how far you've come. I love that. So what else? Like for me, I just find so much power in visualization. So like I like visualize myself, not from just seeing it, but feeling it, feeling like, okay, if I were doing it on my own, this is how I would feel. And I just really go through the feelings of the riding the bike without the training wheels and just that celebration, because I try to reverse engineer into that feeling. Like if I get this off of my, if I get rid of this debt, how will that feel?
Yeah.
And being that much closer to how I really want to be living life, just designing that whole piece out, not just with dollars and cents and lists, but actually feelings too, because emotions are just so strong.
Right. I have to compartmentalize my emotions because I am a highly emotional person.
Yeah.
So I naturally pull the reins on myself if I'm like, ooh, that would be really exciting. I'm like, whoa, don't don't go all the way in there just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the reward is the feelings, right? Because we're into an area of life and business that I've never been before. So I don't even know what those feelings are supposed to feel like, right? Like I have no idea until we get there. And I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. Like, let's do more of this.
Wow.
But so many people, and I mean, we've got a teenager in our house that we are trying to get her through this too. So many people naturally, their natural reaction is, oh, I couldn't do that. Like that is where they live, where they, that's their norm. That's their baseline. Oh, I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you tell me to go do a round off back handspring, I'm going to tell you, oh no, I couldn't do that. But I'm also the type that's like, say I can't do something, I'm going to come back and prove you wrong. I did it. I did it better than you said I was going to do it. I don't know how you teach that, but there needs to be more of that. There needs to be like, be brave and step out there and in whatever you think you can't do within reason.
Well, and I think a lot of it's just asking more questions. Why can't you?
Yeah. Why do you
so
think
yeah, maybe right now you're not going to just stand in the grass right now and do a round off back handspring, but why couldn't you?
Yeah, I'm not physically capable of it, so I can probably work out and maybe one day do it. But I mean, I feel like I'm past my prime in that one. But yeah, as far as a business goes, whether it's a side hustle, full hustle, whatever you want it to be, don't shy away from it because your immediate thought is, I can't do that. Or if there are people, or if there are people around you that say that's a terrible idea. Just know anybody that tells you that is a terrible idea is 95% of the time super jealous that you came up with the idea and that you're passionate about. Like, just know it's not coming from a place that they believe you can't do it. It's coming from a place of jealousy that they didn't come up with it. And they'll usually circle back around and be your biggest supporter.
And I think too, one of the exercises I do whenever I am at a place where fear is really stopping me is, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
And I go through the whole scenario. Well, this could happen. I could do that. I could try that and I could fail. Okay. Well, what does failure look like? Well, failure could be as bad as I file bankruptcy. All right. Well, what if that happens? So just going through those whole scenarios, so you feel like in your brain, okay, if that happens, I'll still be okay. Right. It would be an ideal situation,
No.
but I didn't die.
Yeah. Michelle goes with, but did you die? For
I do.
for me, I always try to run my scenarios past other people that maybe that have already done it, right? Like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Be honest with me, right? Because you've already walked through that scary forest. Now I need you to turn around and tell me like where to step, where not to step, what to do, what not, mistakes you made. And so I'll go to those other people, and if I come back from it and think you probably need to do some more planning and research on it, then we'll step back a little bit. But if anybody ever responds with, "Oh no, you don't want to do that," and they don't have a reason for it, then you're off my list. Right?
Yeah. You're not in my trusted circle anymore.
Yeah. You're off my advisory list. But is find somebody that's done it, that you trust, that you believe would be honest with you. If your mother has never run their own business, don't ask your mom. She doesn't know. She doesn't have any idea.
Well,
and she's going to tell you it's a bad idea because she doesn't want you to declare bankruptcy and move back in. Like, that's probably not the person you go to, right?
No. But I think too that people's opinion is going to be framed by their past experience with something similar.
Right.
Because that's what your brain just tends to do. So I think it is also really important that you take the information as information and still make your own decision, because their response is framed by their past experiences with something similar.
Or no experience. Like that's
no
where
experience.
people speak from a lot of times. It's just no experience, but they sure do want to give you their opinion on it.
Well,
we all know what opinions are.
What's always interesting, and whenever you talk, when we're exchanging information back and forth, is you also have to understand your own personality. Like I, no matter what personality test I take, I'm a 7 on an Enneagram. I'm a, on the Strength Finders, I'm a catalyst. I'm big with change. If you look at human design, I mean, like I am all about, hey, let's just try it. What's the worst thing that can happen? And I just go for it. And not everybody is like that. Yeah. And just understanding that everybody's different and they process information different. And fear is, I just don't have a fear of failure. And maybe it's because I failed flipping many times that it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm still alive and I've screwed up a couple of times. Plus, I
wish I had a little bit more of that. I'm an Enneagram 3. So all about the success. Right. So failure is my natural enemy. Fear of failure is my natural enemy. Because
I'm all about the party. So, I'll just celebrate it,
Like, what's the worst that could happen? And I'm over here like, well, you could go broke and you could.
And then how embarrassing would that be? And then how would I? Exactly.
Right. But then I've got a 6 in my house too, that all she's worried about is being safe. Like, it is a different fear. Mine is success. Hers is just safety need. And that one I don't understand, because if I'm going to win, like that's when it's like, I'm going to win at all costs. Right. And she's like, no, we should really make sure that everything is absolutely sturdy and safe and ready to go. Just like, I'm glad you're in my life.
Now, what's Jamie?
I think he's an 8. We've given him the test a couple of times. I don't know if he's ever actually finished it before. So we are
so he's a 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah. We are a true house of, but that's how it works, right? Like Jamie and I could never work and be married together if we were both 3.
Heck no. Never. How boring would that be? But anyway.
Well, it wouldn't be boring. We would just be competing with each other constantly.
Oh, as 3s? Oh,
yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. Well, any final words just to encourage people if they really, golly, you've got this list of things that you really want to do. Just
for me, it is start small, make your list, start small, but celebrate your victories. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks about you. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not mad if anybody's got my name in their mouth because they're talking about me, right? They're talking about me over somebody else. Good, bad, indifferent. My name's in your mouth. That's where I'm at. 10 years ago, I'd have been super upset if someone was talking negative about me, but you're giving me time
Love
in your head. So at least you know that I sell real estate while you're talking about it.
Oh,
Just as long as you know I'm a realtor.
Well, it's always such a pleasure just to share thoughts with you. Thank you so much for being willing to hop
Yeah,
on
of course.
another podcast. We
Well,
recorded two last year, and one of them didn't get recorded, and I don't even remember what we talked about, but I know it was good.
Oh, I think it was the one about travel. So we can always
didn't travel
record that one.
Yeah, because that was a really good, I think, a really important conversation. So we'll have to do that one again this year.
Very, very important. It is.
Yeah, especially if you're going to make that leap and be in business for yourself, carving out that time to travel, I think is really important. So
super important. But you have to, get to that point where you're okay with being gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I always applaud people. I called Sage, I called Robert at Sage Cafe the other day and asked if he could do a dinner for me, and he said we took the first 2 weeks of January off, and I was like,
oh yeah,
congratulations, perfect.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not ever gonna give you a hard time about that because good for you, right?
Yes. What does that say about his core values? I mean, that's just what a good testament that is about protecting himself and really being good to himself. I love it. Well,
so there you go. There's your final thought. Be good to yourself.
Be good to yourself. Yeah, be good to yourself.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you, listeners, for listening to another episode of the Can Be Podcast. Each Tuesday, we'll drop a new one. Amanda, thank you for your time. Toodles.